Well, hello YouTube. Today we are going to be going through the garden. First I wanted to show you something I've been working on, and that is propagating plants from cuttings. And I've never done this before, so what I did is watched a number of YouTube videos, and I decided that I was going to propagate some cuttings of pachysandra. So what I did is I put them in a tent, which is basically a white garbage bag, and they're sitting in their individual containers that I had from vegetables. And I'll show you one as I pull it out here, if I can pull it out, because I think it's starting to root. As you can see, I'm getting a root. Now, these have been in here for about 3 weeks, maybe not quite, I think about 2 weeks. And I did use rooting compound to get them started. And what I basically do is I soak them really good, and I put them in this tent of a garbage bag, a white one so it doesn't get too hot. And I clip the leaves, and you can go on YouTube and see exactly how to make cuttings. Really pretty easy. But now these will start rooting, and this will be a fall plant, and I'll be planting this in an area in the garden, well, in the area in one of the beds. So yeah, so that's kind of cool. I probably have about 25 or so in there, and I'm planning on doing some more, because cutting in this time of year in August, you don't want the cuttings to start getting woody, so it takes longer to root, and you want to take new growth in the spring. So around June, July, and August is really the best time. And I clip the leaves so it's not pulling moisture, and then that focuses on the root, and you can see it's starting to work. So here we have our red onions that are coming up pretty good, and our Spanish, Vidalia. I think we have Spanish here and Vidalia over there, or they could be two rows of Vidalia. Either way, they're coming up pretty good. The red not so well. I've never really had good success with red, but you can see that our tops are still in good shape. The Vidalia are just starting to bulb within the last couple days. I've been out on business trips and out of town. So here, sorry for the plane, you can see that they're nice. So what I like to do in this stage is I like to just pull the soil away from the top, let it breathe, let it dry out, and let these, that's a nice one right there. Holy smokes, that's a good one. So we like these to just keep going, and then when they're ready, I'll push these tops over. Okay, maybe I can continue now. Here's the place where all the cucumbers were, and we got a really great year out of cucumbers. So what I'm going to do in that area is put a lot of soil amendments in there and get down my buckwheat. So that whole area will be buckwheat. And here's the other area of buckwheat that's probably about 4 feet tall as I stand here. It's flowered nicely. It's going to be a really good organic amendment to the soil. A lot of honeybees have been on this. There's one. A lot of wasps and different types of little critters. The reason for planting buckwheat is to drive the nitrogen back in the soil. What buckwheat actually does is produces nitrogen balls on the roots, and when I rototill all this in, this piece of soil is going to be really nice. So in this area here, we've got our San Marzano and our Roma tomatoes, and they have been just doing great. It has been a hot, dry summer. We've had very little rain. It's actually been a drought. Good news is I haven't lost many tomatoes in terms of them falling off the vine as I have in subsequent years. I've also, because there's been no rain, I haven't had any early or mid-season blight yet, so that's fantastic. So, and the weeds haven't been too bad because there hasn't been a whole lot of moisture. So as we can walk through here, I have a number of them that I have to pick. Well, I'm not ready to pick those yet because I have to do something with them. So I'm kind of waiting to, but I'm just going to have so many of them. As you can see, they're pretty much everywhere. And I've got just huge clusters of Romas and San Marzanos. So there will be plenty of canning and sauce going on this year. As we move over here, there were 55 tomato plants altogether. Some of them fell over and I just left them. I was going to pick them up, but really I run the risk of breaking them and snapping them off. So as you can see, they're really beautiful. So let's go over here to the pepper row and to the Hokkaido pumpkins. Here's our peppers, and I have never grown peppers like this. This is right here. This has to be a 1 pound pepper. I mean, this thing is huge. It is just enormous. Look at that. How lovely is that? Beautiful. And this thing is just crawling with them. I've got, let's take a look at these. Look at these. That's got to be 8 or 9 inches long. I got to back up just to get it in the frame. Just massive, massive peppers that are just starting to turn red. But anyway, this is the Hokkaido pumpkin that Dale Calder had sent me those seeds, and I decided to pick a couple of them because I think they're ready, and I'll get these down in the basement. This is going to be for that pumpkin soup that I'm going to be making later. I've got some other ones over here too. I got some more peppers and more, another row here of tomatoes. These are celebrities, and these celebrities are also ready to be picked for sandwiches. I only have a few of them, but a couple plants anyway, so I decided to have those for sandwiches. Here is the pumpkin, and as you can see that it's kind of dying. You see the leaves are, the plant itself was very healthy until I got this spore, and once I start getting this on the leaves, then it's pretty much spells disaster. No matter what I try, let's pause this for a second. So once I get this white dust on the spore on the leaves of the plant, then it really starts killing the plant. And no matter what I put on there, it never seems to work. Any of those copper treatments or vinegar or homemade things have just not, it's just not strong enough to either kill the leaves or I wind up killing the whole thing. So have a couple here to show. Here is, I haven't had any green pumpkins, but here's a beautiful one right there, nice and yellow. And then I got another big one over there. So I have plenty to cube up and make that soup. So Dale, I want to thank you for sending me those seeds. And let's head up to the other garden up here by the house, and I'll show you that. So here is the spaghetti squash that I decided to plant up by the house to try to get it away from the powder mildew that seems to be everywhere in my yard. And I didn't think I was going to have any up here, but it's up here as well. And I thought it was mostly drier up here, and it is. I don't have it as bad, but once you get it, the powdery mildew, it's in the soil and the spores are everywhere, so it's just really hard to combat it. But here again, I've got 1, 4, 5, maybe 6 eggplant squash out of a couple plants, and then I have these really fantastic patty pan squash that are really delicious and are best when they're picked young and small. They start getting kind of hard, so that's going to get picked. And then this little one here is ready to get picked too. Nice and yellow. See how pretty that is. Just a really pretty yellow squash that are delicious. So we'll bring those in the house. And then over here we're finishing up this year's beets. And you can see some of them are really big. I just have so many beets. And surprisingly, they have not been woody yet. Sometimes they get too big and they wind up getting woody. That hasn't happened yet. Fall crop of broccoli is here, coming in really nice. And I just got to get some of these weeds out of here, but this is coming in great. Planted these from seed. And then over here, I have the kale that had died back. Something was eating it. I just let it go. And what wound up happening, a lot of yellow jackets came in and were eating those little loopers and stuff that were eating the leaves, and they've grown new leaves and come back, so we use a lot of that in our protein shakes and that type of thing. And these are a bunch of cylindrical beets. I don't know the name, but I will say that they are absolutely delicious. They are dark. You can see there, I've got a bunch in the fridge that I'll just cut up and eat cold. Is that my finger? They're just really delicious. Let's go over here and check out the pumpkin. Another patty pan squash over here. I just have not had any luck with pumpkins. I've got one pumpkin over here. You can see how small it is. Ready to be picked, and yeah, it's just not doing well. It was this new bed I built, and Japanese beetles have been devouring my basil. So now that they've passed, I've got some new growth coming here. This is all going to get lopped off and it'll regrow. And I've got some more patty pan squash here that I'm going to be picking today and cooking that up. So that's the update with today's garden. And things are growing really well, looking really good, and been very hot and dry, but hey, things are producing, so I guess that's really all you can ask for. So thank you very much for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.